Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a Thursday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and I'm coming at you after watching something I didn't know that I would watch ever. Certainly not as this person was pitching for the Mets, but I was pleasantly and shockingly surprised to see Rafael Montero pitch into the ninth inning last night. He pitched 8 1/3 innings. It was hands down his best start in his major league career. His third win of the season to go against 9 losses. But more importantly, what Montero's done over his last 4 starts is what I'm really focusing on today. My favorite pitcher was good last night. I mean, there's no getting around that. But, every now and again, even a crummy pitcher throws up a gem. I mean, it happens. If you go back and look at how many times it's happened to the Mets, I mean, when you get these like schmo pitchers who just happen to have their stuff on a certain day. I mean, look, all these guys got to where they are because they have the stuff to be there. It's just a matter of harnessing it and finding it and whatnot. But for Montero last night, it was more than just an anomaly because his last 4 starts have been really, really good. 4 straight quality starts. Again, he pitched into the 9th inning last night, but he's got an ERA of 2.10 in his last 4 starts. As a starter, I'm not factoring in that relief appearance he made against the Diamondbacks. I'm not counting that. But 2.10 over 4 starts. His walk rate is still the only thing that's a little bit high. It's up near 4 walks a game. But his whip is down to like 1.27. He's averaging almost 9 strikeouts per game. 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. I mean, that's pretty fantastic. I gotta say, I'm happy to be wrong at this point. If he proves me to be wrong, I'm not sold. Don't get carried away. I'm not sold that Montero has turned the corner and that he's going to be, after 4 years or 5 years of watching him struggle, that he's found something. But honestly, looking at the way that he's been pitching and looking at the way that he's been attacking the strike zone and attacking hitters, it almost looks as though he has found something. And that would be fantastic. It would be great if the patience that this franchise has showed with Rafael Montero pays off. Clearly, this kid has good stuff. He always has. We've seen flashes of it, but he's never been able to harness it. He's never been able to sustain it. And he's always been afraid to pitch to contact. He's always, as I've said, had a hard time trusting his stuff. Listening to Ron Darling talk last night and talk about how he was painting the corners, especially taking control of the inside part of the plate. He did that really, really well in his game against the Yankees. And he continued it last night. And look, I mean, maybe it's just that simple that something had to switch for him, and it had to just trigger something inside of him that says, hey, wait, I can do this. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I mean, he's still young enough that the Mets have time to keep him around. He doesn't cost very much. He's certainly not going to make much in arbitration because of the 3-9 record that he has so far. But look, I mean, this kid is worth keeping, if for no other reason than this season proved the depth required to compete in a 162-game season with a pitching staff. You need to have at least 10 starters in your system who you can rely on. I think that's becoming the norm in baseball. I'm going to talk more about that at a later date. But I didn't mean on your 25-man roster. I mean in the system. I still do think that it's going to get to the point where we need more relievers versus starters. But anyway, we'll talk about that at another time, like I said. But back to Montero. I was just so thrilled to see him do well last night. I was very happy for him, and I've made no bones about it. I don't like him. I do think he's going to end up someplace else, and he's going to do better someplace else. But hey, maybe I'm wrong, and I'll be thrilled to be proven wrong if that's the case. Another person I want to mention about last night was Kevin Plawecki. Plawecki's been hitting pretty well since his most recent return, from Las Vegas. He drove in one of the 2 runs that the Mets scored last night with a double in the first inning. And again, going back to what Ron Darling was talking about, Plawecki seems to have a pretty good connection with Montero. They seem to call be on the same page and call a game on the same page. Maybe Plawecki's value is to be the everyday catcher, and because he's going to end up calling a better game. I don't know. We'll have to see. But my boy Travis has shown that in every chance he's had to run away with the position, he's not up to the task at hand. So, Travis d'Arnaud may be on the way out, and Plawecki might be the catcher of the future. I can't believe I just said that. I don't believe it, but looking at how he handled Montero last night, who's a pitcher who's been struggling, I'm wondering what kind of an impact Plawecki might have when working with a guy like Jacob deGrom, who, by the way, goes today at 12:35. It'd be interesting to see. I don't know. Maybe we've got 40 days or so, 30 days or so of the season left. Look, I don't care if he splits time with d'Arnaud, if it's an every other day thing. That's fine. See what you got. Let him pitch to the big guys, especially. Or let him receive the big guys, rather, especially. Let deGrom pitch to him. That'd be nice to see. Anyway, today the Mets play at 12:35 in a few short hours, and then they'll head off to Texas. In today's game, Jacob deGrom, as I said, is on the mound. I'll be interested to see how he handles this Reds lineup, which, by the way, is no joke. This is a really good lineup that Montero handled last night. I didn't mention that, but we'll see if Jake can be up to the task as well, and if he can continue his dominant ways as a daytime pitcher. We'll see that at 12:35 today, as I said. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. If you're not already doing so, follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met. And as always, let's go Mets.